There is a version of you that you have been carefully taught to keep on a leash, to quiet, to apologize for, to tame. We call it by different names. We call it aggression. We call it too much. We call it inappropriate, but that is not its true name. Its true name is ferocity. Its true name is focus. Its true name is the raw, untamed will to not just exist, but to prevail, and it is not your enemy. It is the most powerful part of you, sleeping in a cage deep within, waiting for a key. We spend our lives layering politeness over it. We smother it with should and musts and the quiet desperation of being agreeable, but I am not here to talk about being agreeable. I am here to talk about being alive. That thing inside you, the one that wants to roar in the face of injustice, to create something so bold it terrifies you, to fight for a dream with every fiber of your being. That is not a monster. That is your engine. Unlocking it is not about becoming cruel. It is about becoming complete. It is about integrating the full spectrum of your strength, not just the comfortable, palatable parts. It's the part of you that says no to the thing that would drain your soul with a finality that surprises even you. It's the part that gets you up in the cold, dark morning when every soft, reasonable cell in your body is begging to stay in bed. It's the silent, unwavering I can that rises from your gut when the whole world is whispering you can't. So how do you unlock it? You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for a map, for a guarantee, for a sign. You simply take the key of your own will and you turn it. You unlock it by doing the one thing you're most afraid to do. By speaking the truth that is stuck in your throat. By setting the boundary that feels like a cliff edge. By deciding that your comfort is no longer the highest priority. The leash is an illusion. The cage door was never locked from the outside. That inner beast is not a separate entity you need to find. It is the core of you, stripped of the noise. It is your instinct, your integrity, your primal, undeniable yes, so let it breathe, let it stand up. Let its shadow fall across the path of your doubts and watch them scatter. Stop being so polite to your own limitations. Unlock the ferocity, unlock the focus, unlock the raw, beautiful, and unstoppable force that has been there all along. We are taught from our earliest moments to view certain parts of ourselves with suspicion and fear. That surge of anger at an unfairness, we learn to call it a temper and swallow it down. That relentless drive to push past a limit. We label it obsession and feel the need to apologize for our intensity. That deep guttural no that rises unbidden when our boundaries are crossed. We dismiss it as being difficult or uncooperative. This is a profound and systematic miscalibration of our own inner compass. What we have been conditioned to see as flaws, aggression, intensity, stubbornness, are not character defects. They are the raw, unrefined expressions of our most powerful core attributes. Your inner beast is not a monster to be chained in the basement of your psyche. It is the very embodiment of your ferocity, your focus, and your untamable will to not just survive, but to thrive and prevail against the challenges life presents. This is not about cultivating a destructive rage. It is about recognizing that the same primal energy that can be channeled negatively is the identical force required for profound positive creation and unwavering resilience. The artist who works through the night, driven by a vision they cannot ignore, is tapping into this beast. The activist who stands against a powerful injustice, their voice steady and strong, is being fueled by this same source. The parent who fights tirelessly for their child's well-being is operating from this deep, instinctual well. This ferocity is the part of you that refuses to quit when a rational mind would. It is the part that knows, on a cellular level, that you are capable of more than your conscious mind believes. It is the engine of your ambition and the guardian of your soul's integrity. To label this force as inappropriate or too much is to fundamentally reject the very power that allows you to shape your world rather than be shaped by it. It is the difference between a river that meanders passively across a landscape and a river that carves canyons. The world may prefer the passive river, but history is shaped by the canyon carver. Reclaiming this part of yourself is not an act of becoming someone else. It is the ultimate act of self-recovery. It is the process of taking back the disowned pieces of your spirit and integrating them into a whole, potent, and authentic self. The inner beast is not your shadow, it is your substance. It is the unapologetic core of your being that knows its own strength and is no longer willing to pretend to be weak for the comfort of others. The cage that holds your most potent self is not made of iron bars, but of invisible, socially constructed constraints. The most powerful of these is the relentless conditioning toward politeness and the desperate need for external permission. From childhood, we are handed an invisible script, a manual on how to be agreeable, manageable, and palatable. We learn that to be loved, accepted, and successful, we must sand down our rough edges, soften our sharp opinions, and smile when we want to snarl. This constant self-editing is a form of soul-level attrition. It teaches us to seek a cosigned existence, to look for validation from parents, teachers, bosses, and peers before we trust our own instincts. We wait for a sign, for a blessing, for someone to tap us on the shoulder and say, "You have my permission to be great. You have my permission to take up space. You have my permission to want what you want with every fiber of your being." This permission never comes, because the world has a vested interest in keeping you tame. A predictable, compliant person is easy to manage. A person who has leashed their own ferocity is no threat to the status quo. This is why the cage feels so real, yet has no physical form. Its walls are built from the fear of being seen as too much, too ambitious, too loud, too passionate, too demanding. Its lock is the belief that you need an external key, a diploma, a promotion, a partner's approval, to grant you the right to access your own power. You walk around carrying this cage with you, a self-constructed prison of shoulds and musts, all designed to keep the beautiful, dangerous, and magnificent beast of your potential from ever startling the world, or even yourself. You have been your own most diligent jailer, polishing the bars of propriety, ensuring the lock of seeking permission remains firmly in place. The tragedy is that you hold the one thing that can dissolve the entire structure, the realization that the cage is a phantom, and the permission you seek was always yours to give. The journey to unlock your inner power is often misunderstood as a descent into something dark or primal, a regression to a lesser state. This could not be further from the truth. The true goal is not a fall, but an ascent into wholeness. It is the conscious, deliberate act of psychological integration, where you reclaim every disowned part of your being to become a complete and sovereign individual. For too long, we have operated with a fragmented sense of self. We present a professional self at work, a pleasant self in social situations, and a private self when we are alone, carefully keeping our raw power, our ferocity, our ambition, our unapologetic will locked away in a separate room. We call this compartmentalization maturity, but it is actually a form of self-betrayal. It is a life lived on a fraction of your total capacity. Unlocking your inner beast is the process of tearing down those internal walls. It is about bringing that ferocious, focused energy out of the shadows and inviting it to sit at the head of the table. This is not about letting rage run your life. It is about allowing your core strength to inform your decisions. It means your kindness is no longer weakness, but a conscious choice made from a place of power. Your no is not a reactive outburst, but a clean, firm boundary set from a place of deep self-respect. Your ambition is no longer a secret shame, but the driving force of a life lived on purpose. This integration is the source of true, unshakable confidence. Confidence that is not a performance for others, but a quiet, internal knowing that you contain all that is required to meet your challenges, not just the gentle parts, but the fierce ones too. You become like a hand that is no longer just an open palm of submission, but can also form a fist of protection and a grip of determined action. You are no longer at war with yourself. The energy you once spent on suppressing your power is now available to you, fueling your focus and your resolve. You are not becoming a monster, you are becoming a monument, a structure built with all its original materials, finally able to withstand any storm. The most seductive lie we tell ourselves is that we are waiting for the right conditions to act. We believe we need a map, a mentor, a guarantee of success, or a sign from the universe before we can access our own power. We treat our potential like a firework, waiting for someone else to light the fuse. This externalization of agency is the final lock on the cage. The profound and liberating truth is that the key was never outside of you. It is not a diploma, a bank account, or a person's approval. The key is your own will. It is the fundamental, non-negotiable decision to stop being a passenger in your own life and to take the driver's seat. This key is forged in the present moment, not in a hypothetical future where all the pieces have perfectly aligned. It is the conscious choice to act before you feel ready, to commit before you have all the answers, to trust the primal yes, in your gut over the reasoned but in your head. Using this key requires no special skills you do not already possess. It requires only the courage to turn it, and that turning is a specific, tangible act. It is the act of doing the very thing you are most afraid to do. It is speaking the difficult truth that is stuck in your throat, not with malice, but with a clarity that surprises you. It is setting the boundary that feels like a cliff's edge, and discovering that on the other side is not a fall, but solid ground. It is the decision that your comfort, while pleasant, is no longer the highest priority in your life. The moment you use your will in this way, you are not just unlocking a door, you are demonstrating that the door was an illusion all along. The cage was a construct of your own hesitation. The leash was a story you agreed to believe. The power to be ferocious, to be focused, to be unstoppable was always yours. You were simply waiting for your own permission. The key is your will. The lock is an illusion. The freedom to be your fullest, most powerful self is one decisive choice away. The ultimate barrier between you and your unleashed potential is not a lack of resources, opportunity, or talent. It is a single, pervasive emotion, fear. We have been taught to see fear as a stop sign, a warning from our body and mind to retreat, to be cautious, to stay within the confines of the known and the safe. But this interpretation misunderstands fear's true function. Fear is not a stop sign, it is a compass. It points with unerring accuracy directly at the thing you must do to grow. The magnitude of your fear is often a direct reflection of the importance of the action lying on the other side of it. Therefore, the path to unlocking your inner power does not involve the absence of fear, but a fundamental recalibration of your relationship with it. Freedom is not found in a fearless life, which is an impossibility, but in the conscious, courageous decision to walk directly through your fear. The action you are most afraid to take is the very action that serves as the key. That difficult conversation, that bold career move, that vulnerable creative act, that firm boundary, these are not just items on a to-do list. They are the precise, custom-designed thresholds you must cross to prove to your deepest self that you are stronger than your anxieties. When you avoid the action you fear, you feed the cage. You reinforce the illusion that the threat is real and that you are not capable of handling it. But when you move through the fear, when your legs are trembling but you take the step anyway, when your voice wants to crack but you speak the words anyway, you perform a powerful act of alchemy. You transform the energy of fear into the energy of confidence. You discover that the other side of fear is not catastrophe, but capability. The monster you built up in your mind shrinks down to a manageable size, and you emerge not just unscathed, but empowered. This is how you build an unstoppable spirit, not by waiting for fear to disappear, but by collecting a portfolio of evidence, one brave act at a time, that you can feel the fear and do it anyway. Each time you do, you reclaim a piece of your territory from the tyranny of anxiety. The inner beast is not a creature of blind recklessness. It is the part of you that has learned to stare into the face of fear, acknowledge its presence, and then, with a steady hand, turn the key and step forward into your own future,